Now, there are a lot of reasons why you may want to reduce your exposure to PFAS. By the way, welcome back. Give this video a like and leave me your thoughts down below, and I look forward to reading and responding. Now, what are PFAS? PFAS stands for per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. Simply put, PFAS are a man-made chemical that are nearly indestructible, which is probably why you have heard of them referred to as forever chemicals. Now, that is bad news for us consumers because PFAS have been in and on many products that we consume for decades now. It all started back in 1938 when a DuPont scientist named Roy J. Plunkett discovered it accidentally. Its properties were quickly utilized for secret military and industrial purposes, most notably the Manhattan Project in World War II, where PFAS were a much-needed material in the development of the atomic bomb. Now, I know what you're thinking. Not only are PFAS in the air, the water, in practically the food we eat, but they were also used to make the first atomic bomb? Great. This is all way before PFAS became popular for non-stick cookware. Teflon came on the scene as a brand name for a non-stick coating that was then used to make cookware. The first US version ever sold was the Happy Pan in 1961. And in case you're wondering how the heck this was marketed to the public, well, it may have gone something like this.
Smells swell, honey.
Some people use a little oil or butter when they cook so that things don't stick to the pan. But I use polytetrafluoroethylene.
Some sports call it non-stick for short. Now that's cooking.
And we're not worried about the toxic gases that might come off at high temperatures.
It's great being a modern family.
Oh, well, good thing it's Teflon.
Even burned food won't stick to Teflon, so it's always easy to clean.
Okay, back to PFAS and other microplastics and why you want to reduce your exposure as much as possible, such as reproducing someday, reducing your risk of dying of cancer, or maybe you genuinely care about the world you're leaving behind to the next generation. Or maybe you just want a functioning endocrine system, which is a surprisingly tall order in today's world where being normal isn't normal at all. Now, if you are thinking, what is my endocrine system? Well, it is essentially a system in your body made up of glands, hormones, and receptors. These special glands include the thyroid, pituitary gland, pancreas, ovaries, and testes, and adrenal gland. Now, these glands and organs send little chemical messengers called hormones through your blood and target cells and tissues. Then you have receptors, which are proteins on cells that can recognize and bind to specific hormones, triggering a response. We will quickly explain how this whole system works together, and if one thing is off, how it can start a chain reaction leading to disruption and disease in the body. It all starts in the brain. There is an area in the brain called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the master control center for the pituitary gland, a small structure at the bottom of the hypothalamus which releases hormones that regulate most other endocrine glands and organs. Let's just go over a few hormones that the pituitary gland releases and how they affect the body. This is by no means a complete list, but it will give you a good idea of how the endocrine system is essentially a massive cascade of cause and effect events caused by chemical signaling, where if one thing gets dysregulated, it can negatively affect how other organs function. So you can imagine why we don't want to mess it up. Number one, we have growth hormone. It is a peptide hormone that targets almost all cells in the body, stimulating growth and regeneration. It encourages lipolysis, using fats for fuel, and increasing protein synthesis. It also breaks down glycogen, glucose stores in the liver, to help facilitate anabolic growth effects. This is specifically important for health of bones and muscles. Number two, we have follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, all steroidal hormones that act on gonads to stimulate egg and sperm production, induce ovulation, addition, help control balances of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, primary sex hormones. Not only are these hormones important for reproduction, but also play a crucial role in protecting against osteoporosis and are vital for bone health and strength, especially in older age. These hormones also have a negative and positive feedback loop effect on the pituitary gland itself. When levels are high, they signal the pituitary gland to release less FSH and LH, and when they are too low, they are upregulate the release of FSH and LH. Number 3, we have adrenocorticotropic hormone, a hormone release that acts on the adrenal cortex, another endocrine gland. This stimulates the adrenal cortex to release things like cortisol. This hormone is an important part of the daily circadian rhythm, peaking in the morning, lowering during the nighttime. It helps increase needed bodily functions like heart rate, respiratory rate in times of stress, but can be detrimental if it's out of balance, leading to things like hypertension, type 2 diabetes, Cushing's syndrome, and overall chronic stress. Number 4, we have a thyroid stimulating hormone. This gets released and, by no surprise, stimulates the thyroid gland to release thyroid hormone. 2 important thyroid hormones are T3 and T4. They are the primary regulators of our basal metabolic rate, BMR, which is a measure of how quickly our cells convert nutrients and oxygen to ATP, our cell's primary energy source. When thyroid hormones get out of balance, it often leads to metabolic syndrome, including high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high LDL, or obesity, and further increasing your risk of all types of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, the list goes on. This is just a glimpse into your endocrine system and why you want it to function properly. It is well established that PFAS and microplastics impact our endocrine system by mimicking our natural hormones and tricking the body's receptors into responding incorrectly. They also bind to our receptors, altering hormone signaling pathways. PFAS can even alter gene expression. Quick disclaimer, I am not an expert in anything. I am just sharing with you what I'm learning, and I hope you find it helpful. Now, in today's world, you cannot control everything, but you can control a lot, and that is what we are going to discuss today. Reducing your PFAS exposure and supporting healthy detoxification is a very meaningful step in your long-term health, especially since these chemicals are linked to a range of side effects and can accumulate in the body over time. So here are some practical and evidence-based tricks to reduce your PFAS exposure in your daily life. Number 1, we have stop using non-stick cookware. I feel like this is really basic and a lot of you guys probably already know this, but try to use alternatives like cast iron, stainless steel, or even ceramic instead of traditional non-stick pans. But what if my eggs stick? Your eggs won't stick. You just have to learn to cook with stainless steel and cast iron. It just takes getting used to. Learning to use heat correctly is crucial for a home cook. For example, with stainless steel, you want to make sure you heat the pan before you add the butter and the eggs when you go to cook your eggs in the morning. This will really help keep your food from sticking. Other kitchen gadgets you may want to look out for that may come with toxic coatings are slow cookers, air fryers, waffle irons, etc. Anything that involves heat, especially if any of the surfaces could get scratched with a utensil. So make sure you do your research before purchasing. There are so many options nowadays, but I find stainless steel to be the most versatile and affordable. Number 2, minimize eating out and takeout packaging. Many wrappers, boxes, and containers, especially those that are grease resistant, may contain PFAS and other microplastics. Even to-go coffee cups have a plastic coating on the inside that tends to make them waterproof, although most of them are made out of something called polyethanol, PE, which is different from PFAS. It is still highly toxic and not safe, especially if mixed with high heat, such as a hot beverage. I am not saying you can never have to-go coffee again. I am just saying limit it as much as possible and don't do it every day. Number 3, drinking water, specifically trying to have filtered or spring water if possible. Sadly, it has been shown that forever chemicals have made their way into our water supply. Certain water filters like reverse osmosis or those certified for PFAS or microplastic removal can significantly reduce your PFAS in drinking water. The reason your drinking water matters is because it is an everyday exposure. It is something you do every day. So my advice is know what you're drinking. Test your water or get a filter that you trust. In an ideal world, you would have a whole home filter since you shower and bathe as well. But it is not an option for everyone's budget. So just start by prioritizing drinking water. That way you could have clean water to drink and cook cook with. Number 4, know what you put on your face. This really goes for all personal care products, all right? It includes makeup, dental floss, tampons, sunscreen, hair products, nail polish, deodorant, and perfume can all contain PFAS and microplastics. So do your research or consult a resource like EWG's Skin Deep database for safer options. Number 5, I'm calling it check before you buy. And this includes a range of household products, including clothing. Especially watch out for stain and water or grease repellent treatments that may be on carpets, upholstery, furniture, and clothing. Avoid Teflon, Gore-Tex, Scotchgard, or Stainmaster. Now, this may be harder than you think, since a lot of popular outdoor and sport brands use these substances on anything from shoes to jackets. So, if you're going to purchase these items anyway, make sure it is something that will last you for a long time, if not forever, since throwing away these items into a landfill after they have worn out or the latest model has hit the website is really quite terrible. And you should feel bad about throwing microplastics into the landfill, because after you die, your children will be left to pick up the mess you left behind. But Jesus is coming back like tomorrow. You actually don't know when Jesus is coming back, and I'm pretty sure we are supposed to be good stewards of the earth while we are here. Number 6, workout clothing. And I feel like this really deserved its own category, even though we did mention clothing in the previous one. And that is because it is so prevalent in workout clothing. Even very popular reputable brands that claim to have a banned substance list have been found to have PFAS and other chemicals in their materials. You absolutely do not want to be sweating with open pores while wearing a microplastic-filled bra or leggings. To be safe, look for cotton or bamboo ideally. I like Packed Apparel for their quality, affordable basics that I can work out in. Remember, you vote with your dollar, so try to support brands that are providing a product that is better for you and the environment, instead of just copying an athlete or influencer that you like. Number 7, avoid microwavable prepackaged foods like microwave popcorn bags. I almost didn't cover this one because if you're still watching this video, you're probably like, microwaves? Really? Is it 2001? But yeah, turns out a lot of people are still using microwaves. So in case you are one of them, just be careful what you do put in your microwave, because the coatings they use on microwavable packaging is definitely bad news. Number 8, stop putting plastic in the dishwasher. I know, you're gonna hate me after this. I hated myself after I made myself stop doing this, because it's one of those things where if you're in the habit of putting plastic in the dishwasher and then you stop doing it, it takes a while to get used to the habit. But once I got used to it, it really wasn't that bad. High dishwasher temperatures can cause certain plastics to degrade, leading to leaching of chemicals like BPA, phthalates, or even PFAS, if they are present in that plastic, into your food and drinks, or even onto your dishes. Keep in mind that not all plastic is the same. Some manufacturers do use PFAS in order to have a non-stick or water-resistant property in the plastic. Even dishwasher safe and PFAS-free doesn't always mean that it is safe. Plastics can leach chemicals if repeatedly cleaned at high heat. Try to use as much glass and stainless steel as possible in your kitchen just to make things convenient. And if you have a couple plastic items like lids or things, just wash them by hand. It only takes a couple minutes. I think because we wash dishes every single day and we normally run the dishwasher at least once a day, if not multiple times a day, depending on how much cooking you're doing, I think if you can just get in the habit of stopping to put your plastic in the dishwasher, it probably will make a big difference over time, simply because dishwashers do run at a very high heat and we really don't know what that impact could be long term. Try to use glass and stainless steel in the kitchen as much as possible just to make things convenient for yourself. But if you have to use plastic, try to just wash them by hand. It is one of those things that's annoying, especially when you first start doing it, but if you think about it, it is one of those things that is in your control. You do have the option to not put plastic in the dishwasher. And so since so many things in today's environment aren't in our control, it's something I decided to start doing a few months ago, just because I figured, well, it's not that big of a deal to hand wash my plastic items, and if it could make a difference, then it's probably worth it. Number 9, limit how much you are drinking out of plastic bottles or aluminum cans. Sadly, aluminum cans rely on a plastic lining on the inside. This is far worse if the bottle or can has ever been exposed to heat. You really can't control the shipping or storage conditions prior to you buying the product, so you really don't know if they have been exposed to heat. So my my advice is look for beverages that are sold in glass or learn to make beverages at home that you enjoy, like water, kefir, lemonade, kombucha, or tea. And just to summarize, you really want to avoid mixing plastic and heat whenever possible. For example, sometimes I like to blend a hot soup or sauce, and instead of throwing it in a plastic blender, I'll go ahead and let it cool down first. I eventually invested in a stainless steel blender pitcher so I could blend hot foods without needing to worry about the chemicals in the plastic leaching into the food over time. And that's it for today's video. I hope this was helpful and gave you some ideas on how to limit your PFAS exposure and microplastic exposure, and really why it's important, especially in today's world where so many things are out of your control and you really can't 100% control your environment. And possibly some of these tips might even save you money, because you're not going to be so tempted to buy the most sporty and trendy workout clothing, because a lot of them, yeah, they're not made out of great materials. We know this. And so it can kind of, if you're suddenly picky about what you're wearing, you're not going to be as tempted to just buy the latest overpriced legging that everyone else is wearing. And same with, say, packaged sodas and drinks like that. If you get used to making drinks at home, for example, because you do want to avoid your exposure to plastic bottles and aluminum cans, that can also save you money. And so I hope these things help you guys. Leave me a comment below and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.